That is just how many pips to, okay, so that is about, yeah, about 30 pips or so. Yeah, great. That's just about 30 pips. So you may want to consider that. And if you'll be considering that, just make sure you use your proper risk management strategy. Know fully well that until you see your signature, then follow through. All right. So that is for the precious metal. Let's just take a look at what is going on some of the few of the, dollar pair, particularly the AUD All right, so if you look at the AUD/USD on the daily time frame, we are going to see, yes, price has actually, I marked this long ago, price came all the way into the fair value graph that we have here, and this is for January 2024, early opening of this year. Can you see it now? That's it. That's when price, January 2nd. So that's where price did this fair value gap, and we see price came all the way into that zone in the second half of the year. So I am of the opinion that we may see a short of AUD/USD, and if we are expecting the long of the dollar, then we should see the short of AU. All right. So if you go to the 4-hour time frame, what exactly do we have there? But the short has not really given a clear structure to the downside. Now we've seen the shoulder, we've seen the speed, but we've not seen the clear break. Until we see price break this particular low to the downside, then we may consider, shorting AU. Price break this low here. Good. Until price breaks this low here, then we may consider shorting AU. So when price break this low and comes back, this will now be our new POI, which is this particular shoulder here. But there is not much confluence. All right, I think there are some a little bit like more of a liquidity void there. And if we zoom in to lower time frame, we may see some other more confluence at this particular zone. Let's just check the 1 hour time frame to see what exactly is going on there. Great. So if you look at it, this is a lot of liquidity residing below here. So if price breaks that level to the downside, then we may consider shorting it around this particular zone. You see, that's the shoulder on the 4-hour time frame, and even on the 1 hour time frame, if you refine it well, you may see something that may help you take the trade. All right. And if you go to your lower time frame, let's consider if we have any entry for today for the Australian dollar. Now, for AU on the daily time frame, because we know fully well that price should still go and clear liquidity below there. So all we'll be looking out for is just a sell signature to join that, liquidity sweep to the downside. But looking at what is on this chart currently now, I don't see anything much on the chart right now. All right. So just wait until you see your proper entry signature, then you can easily take your short of the Australian dollar. All right, so just a quick view on the yesterday we have a bias for GBP JPY for a sell, but till right now it hasn't gotten to our POI, and price is just, the market is just very quiet since the release of the CPI, like I said earlier. So just wait until we see price take out this high. So when price take out this high and give you your entry signature, then you may want to consider shorting the GBP JPY too. So that is going to be the end of the first session. If you have any question, you can easily type in the chat box. Let's quickly attend to it and look into it together. All right, let's quickly look into it together. But before that, let's see if there's, okay, we're expecting some few news today. We have card CPI coming up by 1:30 p.m. and USD core retail sales coming up by 1:30 p.m. So that's the hours you should also, watch out if there's any entry that you want to take, because this news can easily, inject some few volatility into the market. All right. Let me quickly take some few questions here. Okay, Balumi said, what are the pairs for today? Okay, what is the bias for EU? I'm myself, but I'm seeing retracement. What will this indicate? You mean for EU? All right, just let's quickly take a look at EU. Let's quickly take a look at EU. Okay, for Euro USD, can you all see my chart, please? Please let me know in the chat box if you can see my chart. All right. So Euro USD. Okay, okay. Sorry, I will have to switch that. Just give me a minute. All right, I believe you can see my chart now. Great. So for Euro USD, that is on 15 minutes time frame, like you said. Now looking at, let's start from the higher time frame so that we can have the overview of what is going on particularly for Euro USD. All right. So if you look at it on the daily time frame, great. Okay, I actually have a markup for Euro USD around this place. This is where I'm waiting to short Euro USD from. However, I know you are seeing a shoulder somewhere around this level here. I also spotted some few days ago, but it's not that much. Okay, good. Now we've seen how price took out this particular high right now. And if you are waiting for the sell of this particular one, someone said we can't see. Can you see now? Okay. All right. So this is the shoulder. This is the sweep. You can see this is the shoulder. This is the sweep, and we've seen the break. But right now, price already violated this particular one because you see the weak trade above this level. So two things may happen here. If you see the sell signature, this is on the daily time frame now. If you see the sell signature somewhere around this place, you may want to follow, you may want to sell it down, knowing fully well now, that's another case now, knowing fully well that we are expecting DSY to clear liquidity below. Two things may happen here because this guy already violates this high here. Now, what you are going to see is if you see a buy to the upside, the moment price comes back to this zone here. So the moment price comes back to this zone here, you can easily just follow through and buy to the top. All right, you can easily follow through and buy to the top because price is as more. Assuming price close above this week with a full body now, we'll have a confirmation that we are buying all through. But it's just the week, so that is more a little bit confusing. Now it closes with a week. Just wait for your entry signature. If you see a sell signature, you may want to consider it down. But I'm still of the opinion that price is still coming to target this particular level here. What we are seeing right here, price is still coming there. Very, very clear. Price is still coming there. Now we've seen that of AU played out, AUD USD. We've seen that of AUD USD played out. Price already got into its own QI and is more like going down now. But for Euro USD, I'm still of the opinion that it may still buy all the way to that level. All right. So you should look out for that. All you need to do is just wait. If you see any entry signature here for a buy, you can follow it through to this particular level because we are still expecting DSY to go and clear liquidity below. So if DSY clear liquidity below that level that we mark on the daily time frame, if it clears that liquidity, then we may now start looking out for a sell. But if it doesn't, you should look out for a buy. All right. So someone said for GBP USD, GBP USD on the daily time frame too has a similar. Say okay, good. All right. Look at what I just saw on GBP USD now. This is looking more of a confirmation that EU will still buy because of what we are seeing here. If you look at GBP USD very well, on this daily time frame, look at this level here. You are going to see where we have this IOFPD here. Very tiny, but highly important. You may see price come, clear this liquidity above here, then come and tap into this zone and begin to sell to the downside. This is a very, very important IOFPD, very tiny. But because many people won't see it, that's why the institutions will also love to trade into that zone. And if that happens, then all we are looking out for is this guy should rally all the way into this zone. All right. And if this is going to happen, we know that EU, GU, AU, all of them, the USD pairs, they follow suit. So we are expecting fully for Euro USD to still play out what happened here. Now look at this. You are going to see that this looks similarly to what is on Euro USD, but we are seeing this is where that of Euro USD is still sitting. So the same thing that happens here, we may see it. So today we may see a short of Euro USD today, or the continuation of the long to the upside. Now, if you see the short is going to be short to be short, all right, you get that the short will be very, it won't take a long while. It's going to be a very short time. The sell will be a short time, all right. So you just short it a bit, but the overall trend is still going up because of is looking more like is the only one lagging right now, all right. So if you look at GBP/USD on the lower time frame, 2-minute time frame, so it's still very much clear that we are still coming back up. So price is still very much high, coming to target this particular level here. There's high tendency. We see price come all the way to this particular zone that we are around this space. All right. So that is our bias for today, for today's market analysis. If there's any other question, you may easily type in the chat box. And like we said, remember to always share the link for the TDA with your friends and colleagues. Every trader you know, just keep sharing on your social media and do. All right. Good morning, Mr. Okwemiko. Okay, if there is no question, we are going to go on a very short break. We'll be going on a very short break. If there's no any question, we're going on a very short break. And after the short break, we'll be having Demola come and analyze the other pair for call. Thank you very much, Jeremiah. So till we come back, stay tuned. Thank you.
City of Abuja and you want to learn a skill that can help you earn as you learn, then listen up. Now, it's a common saying that it takes an average of 3 years to learn a skill and become profitable at it. How about I share a secret with you that can help you shorten that journey and help you make consistent weekly cash flow, meaning you get to earn while you learn. Allow me to introduce you to the ATM cash flow training. This is the only trading course that can take a total beginner trader up to an intermediate level and up to an advanced trader, taking you from basically zero to hero. This training will be starting from the 24th of July to the 26th of July live in the city of Abuja, and we're going to have our CEO with us, Ejimi, the profitable investor. It doesn't end there. Even after the training, there's going to be weekly follow-up classes with you and facilitators of the EFT Academy to ensure your profitability. Tell me, how much better does it get? If this is something you're interested in, send us a DM and we'll get you started. If you're in the
All right, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second part of this London session market color. Thank you, Mr. Lincoln. That was a very powerful analysis from your end. It's mind-blowing. Welcome, everyone. Like we used to employ everybody, please do well to share this link. And somebody said it is not streaming on YouTube. Probably you can check. And though we started late, we've started streaming on YouTube as we speak. It's currently streaming, although we started late. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing this morning? It's cold around here in this part of the world. How are you doing? How are you doing? How's been the trading week so far? Thank you. So without much ado, let's get straight into the chat and see what we are having today. Let's see what we're having today. Okay, quite interesting. Let's start with US 30. I believe we had a markup on US 30 the last time we speak. I think we spoke. Oh, yeah. So guys, we are very bullish on US 30, and like we analyzed, US 30 has finally done what we're expecting it to do for the past is it 1 month or 2 months to say that's finally done it. And what were we looking for? We've been shouting it. I mean, everybody that follow market color, especially Tuesday market color for indices and commodity, we've been shouting that US 30 is going to 0.0% fib level, right? And finally, after dancing around, doing everything it can do, it finally went to that level. Finally, smashed that level. The counterparts, that's NAS 100 and S&P 500, they've done their own since probably 2 months or 3 months, no, 2 months ago actually. They've done their own, they've smashed their 0.0 fib level. Why this guy called US 30 Dow Jones was jonesing, right? But finally, we've taken profit on that 0.0 fib level, right? And what are we expecting now? A mid retracement for us to even extend to 23.60 fib level. But right at this junction, you want to see probably a retest of a level. I'm seeing like a fair value gap, a very interesting one that we might see price tap into and then continue somewhere around here. This first one, this gap, fair value gap, this inefficiency in price, yes, might see price tap into this guy and just move. Or the second version will be the one below here, price just tapping into it and then we continue. Where are we going? We are going to at least 28.6, the first TP, second TP 50.0 minus 50.0 percent fib extension level. So, and like we used to say, when price is in new discovery area, you can't really measure exactly where it's going to stop, right? All you can do is just project and use your tool, fib tool, to project into the future. The price has never been here, so all you can do is just calm down and just wait. Once you see you've made a good amount of profits, a good amount of pip in the buy, you can just secure your partials or close out everything. Or of course, if you can carry it, leave it open, but I prefer you just secure your partial and take something, move your SL to break even, so that you allow the trade run risk free without turning a winning trade to a losing trade. So on US 30, we had this amazing push to the upside, smashing all the levels we had before, right? Like we mentioned, there was something, trying to see the setup we had here last week. There's a particular setup that we had. Okay, I think it was this one. We said price was going to tap into this fair value gap and then move, and that was what price did. For now, there's another fair value gap around here. This area serving as structural liquidity. Most likely price might want to get there. And also, if you look at this 2 yellow line that we drew, is the daily gap that was formed on US 30. So we expect that price, most likely price might want to push down to this area. And then if for any reason this area does not hold, then there's this fair value gap just beneath it that we expect that it's going to tap into, and then we see that movement to the upside. So overall, we are bullish. We've been shouting it for a very long time now that we are bullish on US 30, on NAS 100, on S&P 500. We are bullish, right? We are bullish until we see even if we see structure change, right? We just want to wait for it to align. That will be a temporary sell, and then we wait for it to align, and then we'll continue in the original direction. This is the election year. Probably by November, we'll see US election and play. And so, in fact, we've been seeing different things happening with the recent attack on former President Donald Trump. So all of this thing, I believe the market is trying to, also price in all of these fundamentals that we're seeing. But usually during election year, it's a fact, right, from all the data we've had, that we see equities, indices, we see all of them rally to the upside because a lot of people are anticipating, even the government in power is trying to see how they can retain their own stay in power, and they'll try everything possible to convince investor, public, and the republic that they are doing well in office. So that is one reason, like we always mention, why we're going to see the rally to the upside. So for NAS, let's go to NAS quickly. Not for NAS, we are already sure. Excuse me. A sec, please. For NAS. Okay, I believe you can still see my screen. For Nasdaq, on the daily time frame, we are overall bullish. We are overall bullish, right? The overall. Let me show us something. The buy that US 30 just did, this was NAS own, to tell you how crazy this market can be sometimes. This was Nasdaq's own. Came into, tapped into 38.2% fib level and went back, continue the rejection, right? Continue pushing price. The price is at 20,800, 20,000, okay, 700-ish, 750-ish. Why US 30 just did its own 0.0 fib level? And it's quite normal, right? But now they are beginning to align. Their movement is beginning to align. So we can as well start banking on the buy for US 30. So that's being said, let's come back to our analysis on NAS 100. Last week, Thursday, we had an analysis on NAS 100 for a sell, right? For a quick sell. And what did I say? For those in that Zoom call, 3 o'clock Zoom call, I said, when price get back to this place, it's a short sell, it's a temporary sell, but be rest assured, you are going to see level of rejection. And what happened? Price tapped into that place, and what happened? We saw level of rejection, right? This other block here, exactly this other block. All right, please confirm if you can hear me. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. The microphone just went off. All right, all right. So I was saying that we had this analysis marked out last week, Thursday, during the New York market color. That's the 3 p.m. market color, right? Price was selling violently as at that time, and then we said that if we see this guy continue like this without rejecting this level, right, this other block that was violated violently, we said when price returns to that level, we are going to sell off, right? We are going to sell off. I believe some persons, if we're still here, can testify to what I was saying. So price got to that level, and we said, although we know it's going to sell off, it's not permanent. It's not something you want to start swing trading. You're looking for 1:40, 1:10 from this. No, not going to work like that. It's a temporary in and out kind of trade, right? This is the kind of scalping you know you're confident about, because this happened on 1 hour time frame. Happened on 1 hour time frame. This like a other block that was failed, right? And then it turns to a what? A breaker block. So it failed, and then price came back and then tapped into it. Then we saw that tank to the downside, right? So what are we expecting on for US 100 this morning? I believe we're still strongly, very, very, very bullish. Strongly bullish. strongly bullish with this market. So all of this movement was to just, price movements. Price doesn't move one direction. After a push to the upside, impulse movement, you see a retracement and then a continuation. So this was what was happening for US 100. What am I expecting this morning? I'm seeing a fair value gap around this level, and I believe price should tap into it, and then we see that continuation to the upside. A fair value gap with another block just beneath it. So expect price to tap into this guy, and then we should see a level of push to the upside, continuing the movement. However, if nothing of such happened, or if it gets violated, then this will be my next bus stop. This will be my next bus stop. Why I'm not considering this first is because price tapped into it. Price tapped into this fair value gap the first time, right? Just tapped into it, tipped into it, and then we saw that push to the upside, right? And so I believe this has already been tested. What I want to see next is this level being tested. Price tapped into this, and then we continue that push to the upside. Where are we going? I believe we are going to clear this high overall. Yeah, so that is what I'm looking at in terms of buyers for NAS 100 and S&P this morning. I believe S&P has yes, almost similar markup, right? But for this one, its own is around here. So I believe this is what I'm expecting price to do today. If for any reason we see anything different, then we start to reconsider analysis and then see other potential level we can buy from. And see other potential level we can buy from. So this is the end of today's analysis on NAS 100 and also S&P 500. If you have any question whatsoever, you have contrary opinion, you have gray areas you want us to share light on, just do well to type in the comment section. Do well to type that in the comment section while we give you the answer. So all of your questions, the best of our knowledge, right? While you do that, let me welcome our boss this morning for his commentary on the markets. Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Demola, and good morning, everyone. Very quickly, thanks for a great job. Very quickly, just to recap, I think sentiment is gradually shifting. Those of you, if you see, show me AUD USD as a risk asset. We all know AUD USD is a risk currency. There was something I spoke about last week, which is how that if you see sudden movement on a particular currency pair that is related to other currencies, those other currencies will try to keep up, to catch up with that move. And that was what we saw on NZD-JPY when it came down sharply based on Reserve Bank of New Zealand, RBNZ interest rates data that came out last week. I don't know if some of you remember this, early last week, and NZD-JPY came down seriously, and all the other JPY pairs had not come down. And I said there's another block there where if the yen pair is going to, let's see it on AUD-JPY. I just want to point out that and connect it to what I want to say now. Okay, so if you zoom in a bit, let's see it on the 1 hour for last week into, okay, let's zoom, we can zoom out now. Okay, I think this was the interest rate move to the downside where it collapsed rapidly. Zoom in, let's see it. That sharp move to the downside, exactly. And no, NZD-JPY. So NZD-JPY had moved earlier. Exactly, that was it there. That's the sharp move there. You see that first move that broke structure, that shifted exactly. Yeah. That sharp move happened on NZD-JPY. And I remember saying that if it finds support at that other block, it will take off from there. But if not, all the other pairs would need to do that same move to the downside. So I'm showing you something. That's one of the things we try to do at these sessions or during these market color sessions, to show you little hacks and pillars of trading that you can use to tie the whole thing together. So we now saw that NZD-JPY did that strong move to the downside. None of the other JPY pairs had done that move, none. And then all the JPY pairs did it to catch up. And that's what they used CPI to now catch up, and NZD-JPY did a lower low and continued. So that second move to the downside of NZD-JPY to the downside was the first move from all the other yen pairs. So when NZD-JPY was forming lower lows, all the other yen pairs were starting their own move to the downside. You can confirm this on your MT4. You can check it out by yourself. So we're seeing something like this again happening today, but this time around is on the AUD USD and NZD USD. Let's look at those ones. So let's look at AUD USD. So this concept of correlated pairs always trying to catch up, always trying to catch up, always trying to catch up. I used to say, understand dealer counterparty risk and trade it, and then understand the relationship between correlated pairs and arbitrage their divergence. What are we seeing on the AUD USD? You can see that it has started pointing downwards. It's now at a range into that accumulation zone, and it's looking like it wants to break structure to the downside. Let's check NZD USD. NZD USD. You can quickly see NZD USD. Do you see what NZD USD has done? Please let it be the same zoom ratio. That's what will make it very clear. The same aspect ratio. So we'll see it very clearly. NZD USD has broken structure to the downside, and then is now at a very crucial level. If it breaks that level, it's going to form lower lows. Now let's see Euro USD. Same zoom ratio, please. Or GBP, okay, Euro USD, fantastic. Do you see Euro USD? What are you noticing with Euro USD? Same zoom ratio. Has Euro USD turned downwards?
Right.
What about GBP USD? There are different ways of observing accumulation, what people call accumulation. You can use it, you can use charts to see accumulation, but you can also use intermarket analysis to see accumulation. Do you see GBP USD? Has GBP USD pointed downwards? Not yet. So all of this is trying to tell me that risk currencies are selling off, risk assets are selling off, they're pointing downwards, right? And if risk assets continue to sell off over time, it will affect the dollar, and the dollar will start to rise. So GBP USD and Euro USD will eventually try to follow AUD USD and NZD USD to the downside. All right, this thing I shared with you is a good way of knowing what sentiment is driving the markets. So I'm expecting that there should be some sort of push to the downside intraday on the GU and on the EU. Intraday. All right. So anytime you see a sharp move by correlated pairs, let's say there are 6 correlated pairs, and 2 of them start moving sharply, the others that are left behind within the course of that day or that week will try to catch up. So sometimes these are very simple trades because you're not predicting. You are depending on their intermarket relationship to bring them close. All right. So that's what I'm seeing on the 4-hour, how that the dollar is gradually starting to strengthen, especially against the risk currencies. And if it continues that way, it will strengthen against the other currencies, and we may find a chance to buy the dollar versus other currency pairs. Now, someone is asking me what intermarket analysis is. It's an analysis of correlated assets, correlated pairs. So, for example, Demola just finished analyzing NAS 100, and he finished analyzing all the US equity indexes. Well, they are also related to risk currencies. So this should bring more clarity as to what you expect to happen with the risk currencies. Because if you see a sell-off on global equities, you should expect to see the risk currency pairs, which are NZD-USD and AUD-USD, mimic that sell-off to show you that truly asset classes are trying to make their way gradually to the downside, all right? So anytime you are looking at sentiment, you can look at the basket, the index rather, DXY, yen basket index, and you can also look at the correlated pairs, all right? So for me today, I'm looking at a chance to sell either GBP USD or Euro USD. Let's look at it now that I've told you what my sentiment bias is and how I arrived there. Let's look at it on a technical perspective. Let's look at it intraday. Exactly. Where are the possible places where it can likely sell? Okay. Where's my shoulder? Where's my sweep? Where's my break of structure to the downside? That's a shoulder there. That's my shoulder. That's my sweep. Where's my momentum break of structure to the downside, forming a fair value gap? That has happened. Where's my fair value gap? Can we zoom in a bit? Where's my fair value gap? Okay, that's my fair value gap there with an inducement. Exactly, that's my fair value gap right there. And then there's an inducement, that high at 1.2976. Exactly, that's an inducement. Exactly. So what do we likely expect to see? We want to see price tap into that level. When it taps into that level and grabs that liquidity, it enters into 50% of that fair value gap. Remember, AUD USD has already pointed downwards. NZD USD has already pointed downwards. So if we see price tap into that zone, we may see it collapse to the downside. And this should happen between now and 11 o'clock, typically. If it doesn't happen between now and 11 o'clock, then we should look for it to happen between 1:30 and 3:30, typically. Let's do, is this explanation clear enough for everyone who is here? If you miss that move, that's the box pattern move, I taught you another way you can still enter. I just introduced that when you miss a move or you get stopped out, what are you now going to look out for? You are going to look out for inverted fair value gaps. So let's see this on fantastic. Copacabana, thank you. It lets us know you are following us. Let's see this on 15 minutes now. Okay, zoom in a bit. Zoom in a bit. All right, great. So now, where is my fair value gap to the upside? So my preferred is for you to grab that liquidity and to go back into that fair value gap. Now, let's say it goes back into that fair value gap and we miss the entry or we get stopped out. Where is our fair value gap to the upside? The momentum move to the upside right now. We are seeing many from 2955 all the way. There's a fair value gap there. There are two fair value gaps, in fact. Two, exactly. There are two fair value gaps. So we can just mark those two fair value gaps as one imbalance level, or if you want to separate it, that's fine too. So there's one there, then there's a second one right above it. Thank you. So one can mark those levels, those fair value gaps. Pending if there is no other fair value gap that will be formed on the way to the top. All right. If another red candle, right? My preferred setup is into this box pattern. But if box pattern, for whatever reason, I get stopped out or something, if a red candle, fair value gap, closes below these two boxes that have been drawn by Demola now, that becomes my entry for the sell. That becomes my entry for the sell. Now, someone can ask and say, if he closes now without tapping into that box pattern, that shoulder and box pattern, what should you do? Me, I will still wait because there's a left shoulder at the top, 2990, that is going to magnetize price. There is a fair value gap with inducement that will magnetize price. And if you check those two, they are in premium levels. If you do a 50% Fibonacci, if you do Fibonacci from that high to that low, exactly. We want to sell above 50%. Thank you. Above 50%. We want to sell above equilibrium. You sell high, you buy low. So I need to see that factored in. Exactly. So we want to see price above there. So even if price breaks below these ones now to the downside, I'll still be suspicious because that means we are selling in discount. You're not supposed to sell in discount. You're supposed to buy in discount. So is this explanatory enough? This same analysis, you do it for Euro USD and see where it goes, right? All right, so let's do the same analysis for Euro USD. So has this been helpful so far? I combined box pattern, the left shoulder, with fair value gap break of structure to the downside, momentum break of structure to the downside. I also put in IFVG. Exactly, that's one there. Thank you. There's fair value gap. Okay, we've not had shift. We've not had market structure shift for Euro USD. We've not had a shift of market structure, yes. Exactly. Exactly. And then see the inducement just below that. That twin tower of variation. That's the inducement, exactly. So same thing, but we have not seen market structure shift. So this is a bit tricky. We have not seen market structure shift, although we have seen it create liquidity, equal lows. So it can just tap into it and then come straight down without having a shift because it has already created the liquidity that it wants to. In fact, it's not even, that's like 4 different lines. If you extend yes, if you extend it, that's quadruple bottom, 4 bottoms right there. So it tap into that, grab that liquidity, then come straight down. And it has also formed fair value gap if you want to use the fair value IFVG concept. There's an IFVG there if you look at it on the 15 minutes. Okay? All right. Now, I want to ask a question. You can put the IFVG, let's see it. I want to ask a question to see if we are understanding what we're saying. Then I'll hand over to the guys back on the floor. AUD-USD and NZD-USD, they've already done their own shoulder box pattern, and they've already broken structure to the downside. What type of entry, if you want to trade AUD-USD and NZD-USD, what type of entry signature do you think is better for trading AUD-USD and NZD-USD? Between the box pattern, between momentum break of structure with fair value gap and inducement, and between IFVG, which pattern will be the best for entry on NZD-USD and AUD-USD sell? Which pattern? Box pattern. Okay. Box pattern. Is that the final answer? Is there anybody else that has another opinion? Beautiful. For me, I would go with IFVG. I would go with IFVG or momentum. Why? Because Price going back to that shoulder. Let's zoom in. Already, price going back to that shoulder may be unlikely. It may be unlikely. Let's draw the shoulder. In fact, the shoulder is even one kind. The shoulder is already, there is no real, there is a sweep, but the shoulder is down below at 6764. 676, that's the hair. So there's really no shoulder. So the only thing, and then we see momentum break of structure to the downside with fair value gap. See another fair value gap below there with inducement. Even, okay, that's one. Above it too. Exactly. That's another one. Exactly. Exactly. Fantastic. So is there any IFVG? Is there any momentum candle to the upside? There is none. There is really none. Although there is a fair value gap at that sharp momentum candle to the upside that happened between 11th and 12th. That long green candle, that very long green candle that you mark the left shoulder from. No, that you mark the left shoulder from. The longest green candle is right there. That formed the highest point. Exactly. There is a fair value gap in there. A buy fair value gap. Yes. If you extend it all, exactly. And price only just closed it with that red. You understand what I'm trying to say? Fair value gap formed on the way up, then it was closed by another fair value gap formed on the way down. So that region now, 6770 all the way, that's the one I'm really going to be interested in, because that's the only IFVG or pseudo IFVG close to IFVG that I can see. So that whole region. So one can now fib it and look for 50% equilibrium for our entry. All right? For our entry. But before I would do that, I want to see all these lows taken out. Those lows of 8, 9, and 10. Because the accumulation there is serious. It can frustrate any move that you want to see. All right? So sir, how about crypto market? We don't look at cryptos publicly during market color. We look at within ourselves. We're always giving pointers, but cryptos is not something we look at to trade on a deliberate, consistent intraday level. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. We use cryptos to know if there's risk sentiment. We use cryptos to know if there's flight to safety, but to just analyze crypto, no, not really. Not because we don't want to. There are so many moving parts in crypto. I've never seen anybody say they hacked their MT4 and collected their balance. But in crypto, that happens on a daily basis. So you choose your heart attack in proportion. You can't just gather different volatile assets. Your blood gonna dry. So yeah, that's basically it. Okay. So don't forget these concepts: entry signatures, our good old box pattern, which is fantastic. Then box pattern comprises of shoulder, sweep, break of structure to the downside with momentum, fair value gap, inducement, and then a return above equilibrium. Then, of course, IFVG, which was just stated just to show you. Like, if you look at this now, zoom in, Lekon, zoom in, Demola. Did you notice that once that IFVG, that red momentum candle, once it closed below the green momentum candle, do you notice price didn't pull back? Yeah. Price just went straight down. That's because the IFVG traders, not even that low, the actual open, the actual open of the IFVG candle number 1, candle number 2, the open of candle number 2, as that green one that you marked, exactly that whole box, the longest box that you marked, which is the IFVG.
Okay. Yes.
That long box, exactly. That's an IFVG now.
Yes.
Candle number 1, let's point at it so that the guys won't be confused. Candle number 1, candle number 2, candle number 3. You can just use your cursor to mark it. No, I mean, not that you should mark it permanently. Just show them candle number 1. We can zoom in and you show them candle number 1 of the IFVG. Exactly. That's candle number 1. You see the high. Then candle number 2, which is the momentum move, sharp move to the upside. Then candle number 3, which does not touch the high of candle number 1. That is our IFVG. And you now see another fair value gap breakthrough and close. It took a lot of time. It closed like days after, but it sharp closed. And immediately closed to that IFVG. What did you see? Price just continued downwards. That's the power of IFVGs. And that's, imagine you missed that shoulder move. That left shoulder at the top, that would have been the place to enter. That would have been the place to enter. Some people call it, that one now, some can say it's a breaker block. That, yes, it's true. It's true. Whatever the name you give it, just understand the liquidity concepts powering that move. Over to you, Demola. Was this helpful, or I just successfully confused people who understood what Demola said? If you were confused totally, just let me know so that next time I'll know how to talk about it. Okay? So we just introduced the IFVG concept for those who, for whatever reason, your box pattern was missed or you were stopped out. Or even if you got the box pattern and you want to add another trade to your position, meaning your box pattern trade is in profit, and you want to add, IFVGs are very good for that. Over to you, Demola. Thank you so much for today's commentary and to the rest of the team.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the wonderful commentary, as always. So, guys, this will be the end of this London session market color. We'll be to go. That's next week, 24th to 26th of August. Ensure you avail yourself for this training. You know somebody that's been bothering you, wants to learn Forex, you want to understand how the market works, and even more beyond trading, want to start their journey into financial freedom. Ensure you get them started with the ATMC training. It's so loaded, it's super loaded. Ensure you get them signed up. For those asking, how do you register? It currently goes for 150,000. You can send us a DM and then we're going to respond to you. For the online participants, you are given a discount of 100,000 for you to pay 100,000 for the training. So ensure you send us a DM. And for those that, they're very busy and not be able to take trainings, they just want something on the side, passive income, kind of a model, you would also send us a DM. We're going to set you up with some of our bots available that you can use to, trade your account, your personal funded account, and also prop firm accounts that you're using. All right, guys, that'll be the end of today's session. Ensure we meet again by 3 o'clock for the New York market color session. Cheers and God bless. I wish you all a profitable trading session. Cheers and God bless.